afternoon and welcome to the Executives Unplugged Luncheon presented by Wellstar, Douglas Hospital, and sponsored by MAU Workforce Solutions. I'm Nadia Fawcett. I'm with Greystone Power, and I'm also the board of the Douglas County Chamber Board of Directors, the chair, excuse me, of the Douglas County Chamber Board of Directors. So personally, I want to thank you for being here today. I would like to invite up my friend, Dr. Deborah Johnson-Blake, also known as Dr. DJ, with the writing pad, to come forward and lead us in our invocation and pledge. Please stand if you are able.
Awesome, thank you. Good afternoon. We'll say the pledge first. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Is it Taco Tuesday today? I feel like it is. The tacos are delicious. Please have a seat. And bow your heads. As we gather today for our monthly chamber luncheon, let us bow our heads in gratitude for the blessings that have brought us together. In the tapestry of our business community, we find threads of hope, perseverance, and faith that bind us all. In our pursuit of prosperity, let us remember that our work is not a worldly endeavor, but also a spiritual journey. The connection we forge, the trust we build, and the assistance we offer are all acts of service and love, echoing the teachings of compassion and unity found in every faith. As we break bread together, let us reflect on the divine grace that guides us, and may it inspire us to conduct our businesses with integrity and fairness. Let us be mindful of those less fortunate and strive to use our services to uplift and support our community. In this sacred moment, let us be grateful to God for the opportunity to come together, share our blessings, and strengthen the bonds that unite us in both our business and spiritual endeavors. Thank you for being here, and may this luncheon be a source of spiritual nourishment and information for all of us. Enjoy your meal and the fellowship that accompanies it. Amen.
Thank you. I would also like to invite our presenting sponsor, Heath King from Wellstar Douglas Hospital, to the stage for remarks. Heath?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Heath King. I'm the president at Wellstar Douglas Hospital, and happy to be here today. Welcome to our chamber members, guests, and community members. It's a privilege for Wellstar Douglas Hospital to sponsor today's luncheon, and I know we're all looking forward to Dr. Kelly and Dr. James' remarks here today. As a not-for-profit health system, Wellstar is one of the largest and most integrated health systems in Georgia. We're focused on enhancing the health and well-being of every person we serve. And education and healthcare are not actually a whole lot different. We actually are pretty intertwined industries, and we rely on our educational partners for staffing workforce and vice versa. We have a lot of team members that actually go back to school to further their education after they've maybe started in entry-level positions. So they're very unique and intertwined industries as well. At Wellstar, we witness daily the benefits of higher education, whether it's the cutting-edge research that's translated into patient care, the academic partnership that ensures our staff, future staff, are trained in the latest methodologies, or the students who are bringing in new and fresh perspectives. The impact of higher education on healthcare is profound. But it's not just about the direct relationship between the two. A well-educated community is a better community and a healthier community. People with higher educational attainments are better equipped to make informed health choices, lead to better outcomes for patients in the community at large. We sponsor today's event not just as a gesture of goodwill, but as an affirmation of Wellstar Douglas Hospital's commitment to the community, a commitment to nurturing ties with institutions that shape our future, leaders and professionals, not just in healthcare, but in all professions for our community. We appreciate the opportunity to sponsor today, and we look forward to hearing today's remarks. Thank you.
All right, sounds like we got a little background music. Okay, we'll go with it. First, let's take a moment to recognize some of our special guests attending today. I want to recognize our silver sponsor, MAU, Workforce Solutions. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Our board members of the chamber, if you could please stand and introduce yourself. Heath, why don't we start with you? All right, thank you. Please give them a round of applause as well. And our diplomats and business outreach team, if you could please stand and let's give them a round of applause, definitely. Thanks for what you do. Also, we are very proud of our 2023 Cornerstone investors that are here with us today. I'm sure many of them, you may have noted them on the slides as the slides are rolling earlier in the program. But I do want to say thank you and recognize them. They are really the highest level of investors for the chamber, so thank you so much. If you are a chairman circle or a visionary partner, if you could please stand and introduce yourself. Don't be shy. All right. All right. I gotta throw that in. You gotta throw that in. So this is Executives Unplugged, right? Y'all ready to get unplugged? Are y'all ready to get unplugged? All right. We're gonna have a good time today, okay? So at this time, I would like to introduce two outstanding individuals for today's conversation on breaking the mold in higher education. Please join me in welcoming first Dr. Brendan Kelly, President, University of West Georgia. Dr. Kelly, I have the honor of serving with him on the chamber board, and also his new nickname is D1, so I'm sure he'll share more about that later. Also, I would like to invite Dr. Kevin James, President of Morris Brown College, to the stage as well. Dr. James, I was telling him yesterday, I was flipping through the ABC, and your picture was there as voted most admired CEO for 2023. So congratulations on that great honor as well. So please make your way to the stage, and moderating today's conversation is our very own Sarah Ray, President and CEO of the Douglas County Chamber.
All right. Well, I about slid back. That would have been embarrassing. Well, thank you guys all for joining us today. I'm excited. This has been a long time in the works because these are two very busy gentlemen that we were trying to make sure we could get them both on stage together to have a really good conversation. If you know either of them, they are game changers and movers and shakers in the higher ed industry, and both good friends of mine. So I'm excited that we can take some time to chat today. So Nadia started this tradition when she interviewed some of our Executives Unplugged earlier this year. So we're going to kick it off with a little fun. And we're going to play, I think it's called This or That. So I'm going to give you two options, and you get to pick. Look, y'all both just got really scared. You both, Dr. Kelly's like, this was not in the script. I promise, it's PG, so we'll keep it there. And a few of them have a little bit of a collegiate vibe. So before we get into the collegiate ones, Atlanta Hawks or Atlanta Braves?
I'm going to go with the Hawks because they're directly across the street from Morris Brown College.
Good.
Hawks.
Really? I would have pegged you for a Braves fan. I mean, I know you are, but okay.
Can't you? I have more than one child. I can love them all.
Fair.
You had to choose.
Fair. Okay. So iPhone or Android?
That's not a question. I'm getting an iPhone 15 tomorrow. And what's funny about it is, it's the same thing as my 14, but I don't care. I'm getting it anyway.
This isn't even a conversation. That's like, isn't Android still working on dial-up? Is that how that works?
Fair. I am also an iPhone fan, so I appreciate that. But you never know. There are still Android people out in the universe. God bless them. All right. So back in college, or let's say as a student, were you all about that dorm life or all about the commute to school? Yeah. On campus or off campus?
Oh, I only lived on campus my freshman year, so I'm going to say off campus.
I lived on campus until I got married, so yeah.
You technically still, both of you probably still sort of live on campus now.
I'm still married, so that's good.
Okay. As a student, were you more all A's or did you just do enough to get by?
Okay, so this is my testimony to students. Just to get by my undergraduate years, I didn't get serious about college until after I graduated from college. So I got serious for my master's and doctorate. And that's my testimony to students that, look, you all don't waste time like I did.
Yeah, I borrow a little bit from that. I was a serious student, but I was also on the speech, our competitive speech team. So if I was putting my effort and energy somewhere, it was that. And then there was a young woman who I started dating in my second semester of college that distracted me, but also helped me to get back on track shortly thereafter. So,
Love that. All right, last one. On game day, are you all about the game? We'll call it football. All about the game or all about the halftime show?
I was in the band, the South Carolina State University Marching 101 band, and so I was all about halftime. And not only that, Morris Brown College, if you've seen the movie Drumline, that's not a fake school, that's a real school called Morris Brown College, so it's all about halftime.
I view it as being responsible for the game and halftime. It's a wonderful ecosystem. That will be broadcast on ESPN starting July 1st, 2024.
Good
now that
plug.
we've transitioned to Division I.
Good plug.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, well, the torture is over, so thank you guys for playing along. So as we kind of get into our dialogue around overcoming adversity and breaking the mold, can you guys each just briefly share your leadership journey and, you know, how you've evolved and how it's evolved with the growth of your institutions?
Sure, I'll jump in. So I graduated college in 2001. My undergraduate degree, I started out as a music education major. And then my junior year, when I got into music theory, I said, oh, no. I'm going to change my major, and I changed my major to speech pathology. And so I graduated with a degree in communication disorders and speech pathology. I thought I was going to go to graduate school to become an audiologist, but then September 11th hit, and no one was hiring. I had to get a job first. No one was hiring. And so I was unemployed for about 5 or 6 months, and the only job that I could get was teaching. And I didn't want to teach, but God said, nope, you're going into teaching. And so I started out in education, and it was in that moment that I met a mentor who at the time, I was living in Albany, Georgia, was the vice president of student affairs at Albany State University, HBCU. And we were having a conversation. I was 22, and he was like 27. And he told me, he said, I am going to be the youngest HBCU president in the country. And I was in awe of that. And sure enough, he became a college president when he was 33 years old. And I was so in awe of that, and I said, wow, I want to do that. How do I? And so nevertheless, to make a long story short, go get your master's, go get your doctorate. And I got into higher education and higher ed leadership and just worked my way up. And I'll tell you the story about how I became the president of Morris Brown. But I've been working in higher ed for the last 22 2 years now, I guess. And I've loved every minute of it, both as a professor, as an academic leader. I've also served as a corporation leader. I'm the former CEO of the 100 Black Men of America, also the 100 Black Men of Atlanta. And so I have both the nonprofit aspect as well as the for-profit aspect, as well as serving as an HBCU president now for the last 4.5 years.
Great.
So I'll probably not go quite as far back, but a similar journey into education. I had a opportunity to go and work for a very large advertising firm in Detroit, and that's where I was educated. Was in the Detroit metro area. And on the same day that I was offered a job at that firm, I was offered a position at the university. One paid this much, and one paid this much. I thought this was quite a simple decision since I was married and we had our first child on the way. And when I received that offer from the university, I chuckled, literally chuckled, when they made it. And then I got back in the car. My wife, Tressa, was in the car. And she said, so what happened? I said, well, they offered me a job. And she said, what did you say? I said, I chuckled. And she said, why? I said, because I've got an offer that pays this much, and this one pays this much. I'm not an accountant, but that seems like more. And she said, and it was one of the most profound comments she's ever made to me. She said, you will be more satisfied with your life if you work for the university, I think. So I listened and took that opportunity, and I've never regretted that, never looked back, and it was, working with students has been one of the most enriching pieces of my entire existence, and still is. The journey through leadership really came with people asking me to serve, not me seeking it, but them asking me to serve, and that's kind of the long and the short of why we sit here today.
Great. So let's go back maybe 4-ish years with both of you guys in your career, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less. And let's talk about overcoming adversity. You had just taken your role at Morris Brown College. You were coming into the University of West Georgia. And let's talk about some of the obstacles and how you overcame that. Do you want to, whoever wants to go?
Yours is remarkable.
Well, so 4.5 years ago, December of 2018, I was sitting at home watching the news. It was about 6:30 at night or so, 7 o'clock. And I saw this headline, President of Morris Brown College retires, resigns. And I mentioned that I've been working in higher ed as well as a leader or so for the last 20 years. And I said, literally out loud, wow, I want to be the president of Morris Brown College. And I went to the website, the job wasn't posted, and so I saw that Morris Brown College was affiliated with the African Methodist Episcopal Church. And so I Googled AME Church, and I saw where the headquarters was in downtown Atlanta. This was about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And I picked up the phone and I called. And the way that God set it up is the chairman of the board's assistant answered the phone at 6:30, 7:30 at night. Now, you know that we don't answer the phone after hours. And I introduced myself. Hello, my name is Kevin James. I just saw where your president resigned at Morris Brown College, and I want to be the next president of Morris Brown College. And two complete strangers at night talked on the phone for about 45 minutes. At the end of that conversation, she said, send me your resume. I'm going to put it directly in the chairman of the board's hands. About a month later, I got a call for an interview to be the president of Morris Brown College. And I was so excited. The first thing that I did was I called my mentor, who is the #1 researcher of HBCUs in the country. And I said, you'll never believe this. I have an interview to be the president of Morris Brown College. What do you think about that? And my mentor paused and she said, Morris Brown in Atlanta? And I said, yes. And she said to me, Kevin, you know that has never been done before, right? And I said, what's never been done? She said, Kevin, Morris Brown lost its accreditation 20 years ago. No school has ever come back after that kind of adversity. She said, are you sure about this? And I said, yeah, I'm sure. And she said, she spoke life into me and said, Kevin, if you're serious about this, I believe that you can make history and do it. I went into my very first interview and I told the board, I said, not when you hired me, not if you hire me, but when you hire me, this is how I'm gonna resurrect this dead institution. And I went through 3 interviews. I started March 1, 2019. God blessed me to get the job. Now, on my first day, March 1, 2019, I went into the office and the first thing that I said was, bring me all of the bills. Because everyone know that Morris Brown had filed $35 million bankruptcy. Everybody knew about the loss of land, the loss of students, the loss of accreditation. First thing I said was, bring me the bills. Morris Brown College had not paid any of its bills in 2 years. But the lights were on. The water was on. I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. Second thing I said was, well, the faculty and staff are here. Bring me the payroll. The faculty and staff were 7 paychecks behind, but they were at work with a smile. And then the final one that I asked for, and this one is just, this will be in my book, chapter 2. I said, oh my God, bring me the bank account. How much money do we have? Now, mind you, the board didn't tell me any of this in my interview. They would have scared me off. Morris Brown College had $700 to its name. I literally got up from my desk and I walked outside and I started talking out loud to God and I said, God, what did I just walk into? $35 million bankruptcy, the loss of land, the loss of accreditation, the loss of reputation, the loss of everything. And God spoke to me and said, Kevin, use what you got. And I look up and I'm looking across the street from Morris Brown College and I'm looking directly at a brand new $2 billion Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I walked over there just to see how long it would take me to walk over there. 7-minute walk across the street. And I said, Morris Brown has 3 things that no one else has. Location, location, location. So something spoke to me and said, Kevin, what was the top academic program that Morris Brown College is known for or was known for? Morris Brown is the only HBCU in the state of Georgia that had a degree in hospitality management. We have pushed out so many leaders in restaurant leadership as well as hotel leadership. And so I said, I know I'm gonna save the school. I pick up the phone and I call my chairman. I said, I know what I'm gonna do to save Morris Brown. What are you gonna do? We're gonna build a hotel at Morris Brown and tie it directly into our academic hospitality program. My chairman said, Kevin, how the hell are we gonna do that? We got $700 to our name. And I said, we can do it. To make a very long story short, if you Google Morris Brown College Hotel, we just signed a $40 million deal with Hilton Hotel, and we're building a hotel on our campus at this very moment. People ask me all the time, how did you pull that deal off? I did not know that hotels were graded on diversity. Did you all know that? And Hilton wanted to build a pipeline of black and brown talent for its hotels around the world. Morris Brown College now is that direct pipeline of black and brown talent to Hilton Hotel. When we break ground in 30 days, the Hilton Corporation is gonna make a phenomenal announcement. That announcement will be that any student that comes to Morris Brown College and completes our program is guaranteed a job at Hilton. You guys know how hard it was to pull this deal off? So to answer your question, Morris Brown has been through so much adversity. And I'm gonna always stand on, this will probably be the title of chapter 3 in my book, use what you got. Use what you have that is different from the competition. Morris Brown is the only HBCU in the state of Georgia that was founded, funded, owned, and operated by black people. Founded in 1881. That makes us unique already. Then the fact that we're the only school in Georgia with a hospitality degree, that makes us different. Morris Brown just started the first esports degree program in the state of Georgia. That makes us different. Morris Brown just started Georgia's first degree in drone technology. That makes us different. Everything that we have been through over these last 20 years of losing our accreditation, losing our land, losing our students, losing our brand, that makes us different. And so I am building upon those, what others would say are weaknesses, to absolutely propel Morris Brown College into its future. 4.5 years ago when I started, we had 20 students. Today we have 330 students, and we've only been accredited for 1 year. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. And so we are now pushing Morris Brown College forward. Next year we'll have over 550 students. And again, Morris Brown College is back. We call it the Hard Reset. Thank you.
Great. And if y'all follow him on social, the Hard Reset is his hashtag that is probably gone viral. So love that. All right, Dr. Kelly, I know you've had a great journey since getting to UWG, but can you talk to us kind of about that experience, how you overcame some obstacles that were presented at you?
It's basically the exact same thing as James said. So ours was obviously a little different. We were founded in 1906. We are the 7th largest university and the 8th largest state in the United States. The obstacle that we entered in when I came was March 23rd, 2020. We were closed. So COVID had sent every student home, sent every employee home, and left higher education trying to figure out, talk about a hard reset, how to reckon with a reset that had to occur in our industry and had been 15 years in the making and now was being forced upon us by the conditions of the world, and that is a global pandemic. So I looked at that, and you can either take a pessimistic view and say, gosh, when they lied to me during the interview stage, because that's very common among university presidents, the things that I expected, the things that I was counting on coming into UWG, we were the 2nd largest campus in the university system of Georgia. We were cresting toward 13,000 students and had a lot of graduate programs and the like. The things I was counting on all got disrupted by the circumstances. And we looked at that as a team and went, well, either we're going to sit and try to maintain and get ourselves through a pandemic, or we're going to look at what we're supposed to be in the first place and make every decision in service to that vision instead of just dealing with the current circumstances of the day. Bear in mind, the second of those options is not one that people would find popular, because changing in the midst of chaos is very challenging. But I had served as president at other institutions, and you don't get that many opportunities to be in a seat like this and enact a vision, regardless of the circumstances. You're never going to have perfect circumstances. So that's exactly what we did. We leaned into trying to take a university that hadn't changed much in a number of decades. Not that it wasn't great. I love the fact that Mark Denice points out proud West Georgia graduate. That is inclusive of decades of UWG graduates who love that university and love being part of it. But what it was and what it needed to be were two different things, and we couldn't leave or lose the magic that people had experienced. But we had to come up with a whole new type of magic for the institution. So we used the circumstances of that crisis to put together a new agenda for the university, to be one that was connected to the economy of the state, to be a driver of talent the way industry wanted to receive it as opposed to the way we wanted to create it. We decided to embrace discomfort, especially our own discomfort in service to students, and most importantly, we decided to shape the institution around one basic principle, and that's we're going to do what's right for the student, and then we're going to make it work for the University of West Georgia. And that's just not how universities were designed. Universities were designed around, I'm going to say we're going to do what's right for the student, and then we're going to do that in a way that's comfortable for us, and you can suck on it. And that was the dramatic change. The dramatic change was we're not going to mistake kindness for effectiveness, and we're not going to mistake comfort for the type of toolbox filling experiences that students need to go and make their way in the world. We changed our academic portfolio dramatically. We have gotten rid of a number of programs and brought on new programs in information systems, cybersecurity, computing. All of those degree programs were built with companies throughout the Atlanta metropolitan area that needed to receive that talent. We redid student services. I mean, entirely throughout student services, and I want you to imagine, people have been working for the university for a long time, and they love working for the university. They're passionate about working for the university. Somebody comes in and says, hey, I've got a problem. I need to go and find financial aid because they emailed me and said I had a problem. And, we have these kind people who go, well, you're in the wrong place, honey. You came to the wrong office. Where you need to go is to this other building where you've never been before and talk to a person who you don't know and have never met. And then you'll get your problem solved. Now, I feel pretty good about myself because I just told you what you needed to do and how you screwed it up in the first place. And then I sent you, if you get to that building and if you meet that person, in the hope that they actually solve the problem. And we went, none of that's going to work. Students shouldn't have to carry the burden of any problem that they have at the university outside of what they do in class. We are going to be the easiest university to work with that we can possibly invent, and that's work that has not ended. We have dramatically changed the campus, and luckily we have a lot of great partners that allow us to do that. UWG had focused for a long time on getting new buildings and new facilities, but not curating and really being a great steward of those that they have. The campus was overgrown. We had an arborist who believed that everything should grow naturally. I believe that on a university campus, any place you walk where you can find a body that was hidden there for weeks is overgrown and unsafe and not curated, and it shouldn't be that way. So we did a dramatic makeover of the institution in the midst of every single person who worked for it and was associated with it being so uncomfortable because we didn't know how the world was going to turn out. But here's what we did know. Universities in America had been underserving students for too many years. And when I say underserving students, you should walk out of a university and walk right into opportunities and entrepreneurship, and you should have a toolbox that is so full that you can indeed go and take on the world and create positive change with every action you take. And if we come anywhere short of that, then we're doing it wrong. And I don't think we're doing it wrong anymore. No, I think that's where...
Is that your mic drop moment? Because it was a really good one.
No, I'll end there. I'll end with this. We developed about, 6 or 8 weeks after I had started, and we were just dealing with COVID and pulling everything fully online and trying to figure out why students are unenrolling in universities across the state and, watching a catastrophe unfurl around the world. We started a strategic planning process, which, is probably not the #1 thing that's on your mind during that time, but there was a product of that strategic planning process that captures that. We are probably the only organization, at least the only one I know of, that has a commitment statement in that strategic plan, and it says we dedicate ourselves to curating a first choice university. The word curation comes out of the museum world, right? You take old things and you make them new and you make them relevant despite the fact you have changing people who are viewing them. And first choice is a really important thing. That was a call to action that we were never going to stop coming to work and trying to be better every single day. And being better means a willingness to throw out whatever we did yesterday. Whatever was a success of yesterday was not going to be the thing that we rooted our identity in. It was going to be, how are we serving students now and how are we creating that toolbox? And if we have to change constantly to be there, fantastic. And if that doesn't sound exciting to you, then the University of West Georgia is probably not a place that you want to come and work, because everything's on the table every day for us because we're constantly chasing first choice.
Great, thank you. I've heard both of your journeys and your stories, even just with coming into the university so many times, and I'm always continuous. I was sitting here just like, I'd never heard the story before. I'm just always amazed and impressed with kind of the relentless energy that you guys have put into creating two amazing institutions. So bravo to you guys. So to touch on adversity a little bit more, Kevin, can you talk to us about the challenges that you face in leading an HBCU?
Yes. Historical black colleges and universities have been in existence since 1837. And the primary purpose of HBCUs was to educate African American students, okay? The definition of an HBCU are those institutions founded before 1964 whose primary purpose was to educate African American students because we couldn't go other places, okay? For all of these years, HBCUs have been underfunded. Just this morning, I saw an article where President Biden put out to, I think, 20 states or so, that these schools have been underfunded for so many years that I think it was like $2 billion. Did you all see that article today? And so these institutions have always been underfunded. And because of that, we've always been 2 steps behind regarding being able to have the resources that we need. But just like the historical culture of African Americans, we have always done more with less. And that is not an opinion, that's an absolute fact. Think about it. HBCUs are only 3% of all colleges and universities, but yet we graduate over 25% of African American students. Think about that. Then think about this statistic. 80% of black judges come from HBCUs. 70% of black pharmacists, doctors, and lawyers graduated from HBCUs. 50% of black teachers graduated from HBCUs. And the list goes on and on and on regarding the impact of what our colleges and universities provide. There would be no black middle class without historical black colleges and universities. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Since 1837, there have been about 140 black colleges. Today, there are about 100 remaining. Not another HBCU should close because of funding. Morris Brown College was lost its accreditation 6 months after a world-renowned movie was filmed on our campus, and we were in the movie. And that movie made $50 million. And then 6 months later, we lost our accreditation due to finances? Where are my CEOs in the room? Does that make any sense to you? Exactly. Exactly. It went to some corporate pockets, right? So when you talk about HBCUs, you can't talk to a president and say, well, what do HBCUs need without them saying, we need what? Funding. We need resources. Think about a Morris Brown College that, again, filed $35 million bankruptcy. The only school to ever pull this off. People told me that I was absolutely crazy to even try to do this. No school's ever done it. And then when you add on 20 years, think about that. 20 years had passed. That makes it even more difficult. So today, again, we have a little over 100 HBCUs remaining. We are fighting to continue to garner the resources that we need to operate effectively and efficiently. It was my goal, as we restored Morris Brown College, to get out of the begging business. What do you mean begging business? I'm tired of begging people to help us. That is why I said, you know what, I'm going to turn Morris Brown College into its own business, which is why we just signed this $40 million deal with Hilton. I don't have to beg anymore. We're going to have a 4-star hotel in downtown Atlanta owned by us. Thank you. On the rooftop, anybody ever been to Ponce City Market? On the rooftop of our hotel will be 2 restaurants, 5-star restaurants overlooking the Atlanta University Center, overlooking the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, overlooking the State Farm Arena. In the basement of the hotel will be a school of business and hospitality, classroom space, office space, where our students get hands-on learning all 4 years of their collegiate career in business, entrepreneurship, hospitality, culinary, right? And then go out with a guaranteed job. So this is the kind of innovation that our black colleges do. What my goal is, as the president of Morris Brown, as we were going through this hard reset, I told my board something crazy. I told my board, I said, well, we're going to become accredited, and when we do, I want to do something that's never been done in America in higher education. And my board, they sat up. Oh, what is that? I said, 100% of our students will graduate debt-free. What? What did you just say? I said it's going to be my goal that 100% of my students graduate debt-free and are accepted into a accepted into a graduate school before they graduate, and or have a job offer in hand before they graduate. Well, Kevin, how are you going to do that? Well, we're the only school in America, I think, it's at least HBCU, I know for sure, that is now 100% debt-free. How are we debt-free? Because we filed $35 million bankruptcy. We were never supposed to see the other side. It's funny, but it's not. Because we were never supposed to get to the other side of bankruptcy. Never. We don't have a stadium to pay for. We don't have dorms. We don't have a cafeteria. So Morris Brown is 100% debt-free, which means we can charge whatever tuition we want to charge. And so we are now the most affordable black college in the city of Atlanta. $4,000 a semester. And we're private. Think about the student population that we cater to. We cater to first generation, African American. A lot of our students are Pell eligible. So when you look at our tuition, $8,500 a year, $4,250 a semester, now that we are accredited, now that we have our federal financial aid reinstated, our students get about $6,800 in Pell, which they don't have to pay back. So if you look at a student and they have to take out a loan for $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 a year, what I am doing now is partnering with corporations to say, what would it mean if you gave a $1,500 scholarship to a student over 4 years and they graduate debt-free and then come work for you, Coca-Cola, and then come work for you, Home Depot, and then come work for you, Delta Airlines? What would that mean for America? 4 years ago, billionaire, what's his name, Howard, he was over at Morehouse, Robert Smith, paid off everyone's student loans. You all remember that? They're studying the impact of what those 300 students whose student loans were forgiven at their graduation, 4 years later, what did that mean for their life? And the results are astounding. It's not even the American way to graduate with anything debt-free or to be debt-free. And so Morris Brown College is working to change what that means in the higher education system. So last year, we graduated 20 students, and 98% of them graduated 100% debt-free.
Awesome.
I'll stop there.
I'm totally just throwing my questions out the window because I feel like this conversation is just, and you checked off like 3 of them, so that was great. Dr. Kelly, I want to talk to you or let you share with our group very similarly, but in a different way than Kevin has done at Morris Brown College. The way that you have created and fostered partnerships and created these new innovative opportunities for students is phenomenal. I mean, I would love for you to share really quickly, even with the Lionsgate, with Great Point Studios. I know I'm thinking through the stories where you've shared with me about with your catering programs within the university. Can you just talk to us a little bit about some of the ways that you have kind of leaned into the challenges that you faced coming into the university and have used innovation and creativity to help kind of navigate through those and some of the partnerships that you've created?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I would say for President James, I believe the number was not $2 billion, it was $13 billion. And the one thing that HBCUs have gotten so right is always focusing in on culture and community. And that has created a resilience among those institutions that is pretty remarkable, and one that we borrow from at the University of West Georgia a lot. And that's where partnership starts to meet it. That was a great story because it talks about reinventing an institution, throwing out whatever it was, not the fundamental things, but the things that were more superficial. How we do business is a superficial thing. We can do business in a lot of different ways. So I'll use, and I hope Superintendent North doesn't mind me using him as an example since he is a 2-time West Georgia alum.
On his way to his 3rd.
And the Superintendent of the Year. So one of the things that we wanted to make certain an education at West Georgia had for every single student, and bear in mind we're almost 30% graduate students across a wide variety of different programs at the master's, specialist, and doctoral level. But certainly for every undergraduate student is that it was a serious toolbox-filling experiential learning experience. And when I say that, you all remember doing group work in college and doing all kinds of simulation. I prefer live fire environments. And I say that because you learn a lot. My son went to basic training, and I raised him for 18 years, and then the United States Department of Defense took over for a few months. And it's amazing how differently people behave when they go through a live fire environment like that, which is created at basic training. Just filled with skills, abilities, and discipline that he didn't have when he left. Now, okay, so how can that be part of every single student's education? So what we've done is dedicated ourselves to making certain that we're embedded in industry and that students get those experiences right away. There's no reason why we can't, and you mentioned Great Point Studios in our film partnership. Why not hand a camera over to a student on day one instead of waiting until they're a junior before they get those preliminary experiences? Why don't we trust them to make things and develop skills in an interdisciplinary fashion right away? Well, there's only so much we can do as a university. But if we can go and make the university a solution to somebody else's problem, then we open up all kinds of possibilities. We've been really good on the mass media front for years, for decades. In fact, not that I want to mention it, but in the video we released last week to announce that we were transitioning to Division I, Elle Duncan, who is on SportsCenter on ESPN and a graduate of the University of West Georgia, is the one doing the voiceover. And we did that on purpose because she is representative of somebody who got to do the thing that she is doing now. And we wanted to put fuel on that fire. So we went out and did two things. One, we searched for ways where we could embed students in film and television production right into industry, not hoping they make connections. We're not talking about internships or externships, although those are great. We're talking about going and embedding them in industry. So we entered into a partnership with Great Point Studios in the new film studio that's being built here in Douglas County. 3 of them are Lionsgate, 1 of them is Great Point, so that we can deliver all of the advanced portions of film and television production at the University of West Georgia on a soundstage at that studio in partnership with whatever production they're doing. So they're filming whatever movie, Drumline 2, the story of Morris Brown College coming back to life, right? It's going to be our students who are working with industry professionals adjacent to them, getting feedback from them, and not feedback that comes with a grade, but feedback that comes the way a student athlete experiences it from a coach. You need to get better at this, and you need to get better at this now. A sense of urgency, but a live fire environment. It's a partnership that's going to provide an experience we could not possibly provide ourselves. And we have other universities that built large programs around experiential learning, around film and television production, but they're not on the set. We went up to Yonkers. We visited a small partnership that Great Point Studios has with Syracuse University. We sat on the set of The Precinct and started to imagine what our students would be doing. And I said, how large is the program with Syracuse? And they said, well, we have about 12, 15 students a semester. I said, well, what do you do with a few hundred? And they got really excited about the possibilities. And then we put more fuel on that because Superintendent North and I were talking. He's got talent needs. How do we train up the students who are in high school, in Douglas County schools, give them entry points into industry that have high demand in this county and the surrounding area? Because should they have to wait till college? Should they have to wait until their junior year of college? So we disrupted that as well. We've entered into a dual enrollment partnership. And I'm going to tell you, there are 2 things that are great about that partnership. One, we started on the premise that everybody has to win, especially students. We made it work for both of our organizations, and we continue to. But the second piece, and this is the key piece, it had to be both cool and everything had to still be on the table. So if Trent calls me after we've been working on this for 3 months and goes, you know what, something's not working for us, well, we solved that problem that day. And it's not like, well, we agreed on this beforehand. That's not the way partnership works. Partnership works when you're all committed to evolution and you have a really, really focused vision for what the outcome is. And the outcome for us is always the same, whether they are a dual-enrolled student at the University of West Georgia from Douglas County Schools, whether they're a UWG student who's in a live fire environment. If we're not filling your toolbox with tools that allow you to graduate and go and take on the world on day one, have given you a professional network, mentors, externships, internships, remarkable experience, then we are not achieving the goal that we set out to achieve. And for me as president of the University of West Georgia, those results are not possible without partners that are not universities, because then we become solutions to each other's problem.
Love that. Great. We're out of time, which is a great thing. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. Before we wrap this up and we turn it back over to Nadia, in 3 words, what keeps you going every day for your students at your respective university and college?
3 words. Our ancestors, students, alumni.
Love it. Brenton?
Students, optimism, and promise.
Love it. Great. Well, thank you guys all for being here today. And I'm sure you can stick around for a minute if anybody has any questions. Again, appreciate you taking the time out of your day and your busy schedule to come and chat with our audience today. So appreciate you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly, Dr. James. One big round of applause. Great insight, great inspiration. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. As a thank you for your time today, a donation will be made in your name to the Douglas County Chamber Board Scholarship, which funds a scholarship for a high school senior in our community. So again, thank you, and thank you for your time today. A few announcements. Join us next month for the Community Impact Luncheon, the State of Healthcare, on October the 18th here at the Douglasville Conference Center. This event will feature Dr. Janet Memark, District Health Director for Cobb and Douglas Public Health. Dr. Memark will be highlighting the latest data on the health of Douglas County residents and the challenges and opportunities to help improve the health of our residents. I do want to make one very big announcement. This is very important to the conversation that took place. I would like to make sure that all the Android users in the room hold up your phones. There we go. We got several in the building. Look, Gil, awesome. Android for life. Give us a round of applause, please. Lastly, I do want to thank Wellstar Douglas Hospital and MAU Workforce Solutions for sponsoring this event today. And I want to invite Heath, if you could come back. We got to do some door prizes, right, before we move forward with our day. If you could draw for us, please. Do the honors. We have three, I believe, 3 door prizes, so get your tickets out. And do you know what we're giving away today?
These.
Yes.
These right here.
Surprises, okay? It's a surprise. It's a really good surprise. Okay, the last 4 digits are 4143. 4143. Awesome! Come on up and get your prize. Thank you, Heath. Last 4, 4050. 4050. Awesome. And last but not least, 4135. Awesome. Come on up. Thank you to our guests. Thank you for being here today, and y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Take care.